Hello and welcome to Good Times with Alex and Ryan. This is my radio voice. How do you like it? My handle is at Ryan W. Sprague. You can follow me on any social media. Alex, but what's your handle over there, Alex?
At Vandollar15 on Twitter. And my boss at the radio station always tells me, don't sound like a radio announcer. When you talk, it's like, just he wants you to sound as relaxed as possible. So if I'm reading copy, he'll make me reread it like over and over and over again to make it sound as natural as possible. But it's really hard. You know what I'm saying?
Lessons from the radio with Alex Hanover.
That's exactly what you don't want, what you're doing right there.
It's a podcast. We can do whatever we want because it's hard.
Hey, go upset the 9 viewers at home right now.
All right, so now we are going to talk about high school parties.
or lack thereof.
Yes, Alex and I were very, very much in the party scene all over the
place. In high school, I probably went to 3 parties, and I consumed a total of 0 ounces of alcohol. Nothing. So didn't drink a drop.
I did not. I went to a couple of, I think I maybe went to like a half party because all the other places that I went to where there was alcohol was not really a party. It was kind of like just a social get together where we played cards, hung out, went to the pool. Not really like a party. I did go to a party where there was some. I had some Jello shots, and I was like, "Oh, since they're food, they won't have."
Exactly. I had Jello shots one time, and I was living with Jimmy, and Jimmy made an entire like Jello mold of Jello shots. He put a whole bottle of like Everclear in this stuff.
Oh, that's intense. The ones I had were what were they? Vodka. I don't even like alcohol and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna try these. I just had a couple. I didn't really get drunk or anything. Just for some reason I thought it wouldn't affect me because there's in a Jello.
Yeah, we went, dude. So Jimmy and I each ate a full bowl of this Jello he made, and then we were gonna have a barbecue later that day. So we went to Walmart, and we drove there completely sober because it hadn't even started to do anything yet. We were in the middle of the like bun aisle for like hamburgers and hot dogs. And I looked at him and he looked at me, and we didn't even know why we were there anymore. It all of a sudden hit at once because we had digested it. I was hammered. I went from being sober as a judge to completely tanked. We had to call my girlfriend at the time to come pick us up.
Wow. Well,
I was instantaneous.
I've heard things about that. It does that. Best friend Andrew, he went to a party, and I just heard about this. He's from Newfoundland, a Newfie, and they're known for drinking. He had some Everclear, a shot of Everclear, and he's like, this isn't doing anything. He had 8 shots of Everclear. Wow. And and so like I think Stephanie was there. Oh, and so she was helping him because he was like puking in the toilet. He could hardly like move. Like
it was sounds like a good time.
Yes. Yeah, I've never experienced that because, one of the things just I set a standard to where like, hey, I'll never get drunk. And I never reached that point. But in high school, too, like we weren't really big drinkers anyways. It was just every once in a while, like we would run into things like this, like we were describing. Like I would go to a place and they'd have some stuff.
Yeah, I remember that party we went to. It was like a backyard barbecue at Lisa Pals. I think it was Lisa Pals.
It was.
And they had like a cooler of beer. We walked in, we could have had as many beers as we wanted to.
Well, I don't know if they'd allow us to do that. I mean, I remember there was one person that was like totally freaked out that we would, because you were joking around, but she was like, no, don't do it.
Was that Katie? Yeah, it was Katie, right?
I cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah, it was Mad Dog.
but we were just joking.
Yeah, I wasn't. And then somebody came up to you and was like, "Hey, grab a Bex, bro. Have a beer."
That was you. We were totally joking around.
Oh, was it me?
Yes, because she was like getting upset, and you were kind of like prodding it more by just saying, "Hey, Ryan, grab a box." I'm like, "Yeah, grab a box."
Oh my gosh, I totally remember that. And like,
They had a trampoline there, and so like I'm jumping on it. I'm like, "Hey, maybe I can do a backflip." I try to do a backflip, and I land on my head, and everybody's like, "Dude, are you okay?" Like that feel sorry for kid that just
yeah,
like did something and like, oh man,
they're like, grab a couple Becks and put it on his head now. Stat.
so embarrassed.
Ice him down. Grab the Becks and ice him down with it now.
So from then on, whenever Alex and I were driving in the car and we saw a cop, because I would always go the speed limit. Well, except for when I wasn't really fast, but we wouldn't do this at that time. Usually, my rule was whenever I'm in town, I go the speed limit. When I'm out of town, I drive like
like you're on the Autobahn.
like I'm on the Autobahn. So we're driving along. Whenever we see a cop, we just, hey, copper, grab a Bex. Come on, we're over here having a good time.
Got some Becks chilling in the back, son.
One time, what was it? We were frisbee golfing. I think we were frisbee golfing, right?
We used to frisbee golf all the time.
That's true.
You get the Bi-Mart special. You'd get the medium drink, the bean burrito, and like a nacho for like $1.99 or something like that.
Awesome. Yes. Every day. Was it in high school we were doing that? Just right after school, we would go straight frisbee golfing.
Yeah, you'd get Taco Bell, you get the Bi-Mart special, because you'd have to have your Bi-Mart card, or you'd have to tell them about it. You'd get the $1.90 special, and then you go straight to the frisbee golf course.
Yeah. And we would do that almost every day. Go to the frisbee golf course. We had someone, Mackenzie, who he was really good at that stuff.
He actually went pro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was, well, it still is really good. Do you remember when we went frisbee golfing and he was going to take Melinda to the prom and she was going to be his date, and he ended up taking her, but they wanted to kind of get to know each other a little bit. So he took her disc golfing, and the very first toss that she had, she threw the disc backwards and into a bush and lost his disc.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and then she acted like she just did not give a crap. And he took that so seriously. He was so offended that the romance was ruined after one toss.
Oh.
Yep. Romance was ruined.
Those were such fun times. It was like regular golf, except you could talk a lot more and have a big group of people and hang out. I enjoyed it so much. I spent a little money on a really nice golf. Frisbee golf? Frisbee?
Yeah, brand new disc.
I was hitting it. I was hitting them. I was like, all right, this is fun. I can do this. I can hit these. I throw it. I'm like, oh, wow, that one looked really good. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. And what we found out is people steal them, because what they do is at that hole that I threw at, they would come from the street up into the course, grab some frisbee disc, and run back into their car.
Yeah. That happened. Like, there was nothing more nerve-wracking than thinking you lost a disc. I'm telling you, being at a friend's house and you just used the bathroom and the water starts coming up is less anxiety causing than losing your disc. Because at that time, you didn't have any money. Those discs were like $10, so $10 was a lot back then.
Yeah, it sucked. And then like everybody would chip in to try and find it. Like if you lost your disc, even if it took 5-10 minutes, everyone was like, "Hey, let's go find your disc." And oh, I think I see it over there. Jump over that fence, and you get on your like Air Jordans to run faster and jump over the fence. You'd jump back. Dog would jump over the fence and chase you around town. And
dude, one time, yeah, like the Sandlot. No, there was this time somebody lost their disc in the hedge on like hole 3 in North Bend, and Chris, who's been involved in all these crazy stories, pops out of the hedge, and somebody was throwing their disc right at the exact time he popped out looking for a disc. He got hit right in the head and got laid out. This guy was throwing this disc from like 4 feet away, right into his head. Pop.
Ow.
You remember that?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that one. I don't know if I was there. But yeah, that poor guy gets ticks, gets slammed against the wall,
smashed through drywall like the Kool-Aid Man is coming through.
Get hit in the head with a frisbee golf.
You know what, Chris? Chris deserved all that. Chris was a real turd. He liked himself a little bit too much. The universe was trying to put things back into balance with that guy. You don't have to say anything negative. I'll just handle this. I'll do the heavy lifting on it.
I try and steer away from.
Good. Have him produce. Hey, have him produce a podcast and come at us. Come on, Chris, bring it.
He was a little, as you said, a little kind of turdy. Or
he loved himself. He thought his turtlenecks and his rugby shirts were the greatest thing that ever happened to him. His mom's Honda that he got to drive around that wasn't his car. He treated every girl he dated with like garbage. But hey, other than that, he was a great guy.
Some of his girlfriends going over to his house, hanging out. Was that him?
No, that was okay. So I was having a birthday party, and we were all at my house. You were there, and his girlfriend at the time waited outside of my house in her car. And just,
that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, she just sat out there for hours. And nobody went out and talked. It was kind of borderline, maybe a felony. Like, kind of stalking.
Well, anyway, as long as nothing happens, it's okay. Someone should have went out there and talked to her, though.
Yeah, definitely. Or invited her into the house. I mean,
something. Just leaving her out there like that.
And Chris is like, I can't go out there right now. I'm busy right now. I'm whatever. I don't even know. But whatever. He didn't go out there though. And they were like definitely together. So that was really weird.
So yeah, we actually did a lot of regular golfing too. That was awesome. I remember going after work. What was that golf course called that we went to? It was
Kentucky Golf Course.
Kentucky Golf Course, and it was it
was like a big,
but it was really fun for us because
it was like a big pasture. It was almost like a cow pasture.
Yeah. If you ever been to Oregon or seen Oregon, it's beautiful. And you're sitting out there in the woods, hitting these golf balls all over the place. And so Alex and I did that often. Do you remember the time that like I hit one and I thought, oh man, it's gone. I got to get a mulligan on this one because we couldn't find it. So I hit another one. And then as I'm getting to the golf hole, it's like 10 feet away.
Yeah, you almost had a hole in one. You thought you lost it, and you almost had a hole in one. I remember that. Yeah, I do.
Because
that was crazy.
That was really crazy because there's so many holes in there that you can't see, so you don't know where they went, what's going on with them.
Well, Coos Bay, if you've never been there, is super windy. It rains a lot. There's leaves all over the place. During all parts of the year. So it was easy to lose a golf ball. I used to play golf with a bright yellow one or a bright orange one, so I would know where I hit my ball at. So you'd lose it.
You'd have to have a lot of extra balls. I remember one time the shady guy comes up to us, hey guys, and he has like this trench coat jacket, and he pulls out like this bag of balls.
Yes,
and he's like, hey guys, I got some balls. You can't ask me where I got them from. He really did say that. You can't ask me where I got them from, but. Yeah, if you want, just $5.
And I was like, well, let me get $5 out because I'm buying those right now.
Exactly, because it was, we lose so many balls and we didn't have a lot of money. So
yeah, there was like 100 balls for like $5. What I had heard later that he was actually going, like the golf course would close and he would go into the water traps and fetch the balls out. Yeah, so he was actually pretty smart. Totally illegal, but it's smart.
Was it illegal? Like, I don't.
Yeah, it was private property, so he had no affiliation. Like, so if those golf balls were lost on private property, those are probably ownership of the golf course itself. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I actually worked at that golf course for about 3 months. The year after I graduated.
Oh, because I remember one time we went there and you felt awkward about something about working there, and I was like,
"Yeah, well, I didn't put a notice in."
Oh,
so I just let.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
you never did that again, did you?
I didn't put a notice in, and
if you don't know, let me tell you a little story you might be a little embarrassed about. But,
no.
So I was working at a company, and I thought, Alex was like, hey, you got anything for me? And I'm like, okay, yeah, over here, give it a shot over here at this job and give it a shot. And he's like, okay. He comes, he starts working, pretty good worker, making everybody laugh. Really, really cool. I'm like, okay, this is working out great. And after a little while, all of a sudden he's just not there. And they're like, everybody's like, hey, where'd your friend go?
Oh no. That job was that was a good job too. And I remember, as far as like exercise goes,
Oh yeah, that was
the first 2 hours of that shift was intense. Unloading a truck is hard work.
It is, but it was really good physical exercise.
Yeah, everybody that worked there was really nice. I want to go on record and apologize to you for that right now. So I'm sorry.
I accept the apology. I didn't really.
Thank you.
I was just at that time. I was just like, oh, it is what it is.
I know. That was not good. That was typical though behavior for me back then, because I was drinking a lot back then. It's amazing that I even made it into those early morning shifts when I had been out probably drinking like the night before almost every night.
I remember, so there was a bar next to the work, and your car was over there like a lot because
Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies, because you didn't go home much or something.
Mm-hmm. I would leave it there, and I would take a cab home, and then I would walk to my car the next day.
Okay.
But dude, one time I was one time I got so drunk I left my car at the casino in town and couldn't find it for 2 weeks. I didn't know where my car was for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I got home, don't know how I got home. The next day I was like, oh, I must have left my car at Goonies. And it's like, go to Goonies. Nope, it's not there. So I operated under the assumption that my car was just gone. And 2 weeks later I got a call. And
like, oh, lost my car. Oh, well.
Yep. 2 weeks later I got a call from the Mill Casino security. And they're like, are you such and such? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you need to come get your car. We're going to tow it. It's been here for 2 weeks. So I was like, that's the only jackpot I ever hit at the mill, getting my own car back. So that was a good one.
So we're golfing. Sorry, let me pull us back a little bit.
Yeah, so we're at the golf course,
and we got what? We got our friend Anthony.
Anthony Delpreet was with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So he came every once in a while. He was kind of like, to me, he was kind of like a preppy guy.
Yes. Polos every day. He had a popped collar at all times.
A Coos Bay preppy guy.
Yeah. He stood out like a sore thumb, because in Coos Bay, if you've been in Coos Bay, it's mostly white people. Anthony was half Sicilian and half Hispanic. He was extremely handsome. He was charismatic, but he also, one really bad quality about him is he knew it. So he behaved like he was charismatic and handsome.
I remember going over to your house or your apartment, and he had his car lifted up, and he was painting the brakes.
The brake pads, yeah.
As he was painting them red to make them look like they were aftermarket brakes.
I don't even know what he was painting that with. He had like a little thing of nail polish.
And he was just nonchalant about it. Yeah, I'm painting my brakes right here to make them look, more like no shame. Just say, yeah. It's like, okay.
So when we would go golfing, I had never ever been around somebody that always had to have a 6-pack of beer.
Before you
every time.
Tell us about that story you told about that, just to get an idea of his personality and who he is. About the girl.
At the shuffleboard table. Anthony and I were living together in Coos Bay for the second time. So he worked for BLM, and during the school year he wouldn't work. He would go to Eugene and just go to school. But when summertime would come, he would come back to Coos Bay and work for BLM. So he needed a place to stay because his parents had moved out of the state. They moved to Nevada. So Anthony and I were close, and he asked if he could move in, and I said, sure. So one night, he had been seeing this girl, and I say loosely because they were just, making out and messing around and stuff. And anyway, we go out one night and we go to this bar, and we played shuffleboard and had cocktails and had a good time. But the girl he was hanging out with had just broken up with her serious boyfriend of like years and years. And he was at Goonies, the same bar we were at the exact same moment. He was watching us.
That sounds
like he was just watching us. He was sitting with his back to the wall, nursing a beer. And the first thought I had was, this guy's going to try to hit us with a pool cue, or he's going to try to break one of these, that glass over our head or something. An hour into us being there, he stands up and points at Anthony and he says, "Hey, Anthony, I'm going to find out where you live. I'm going to follow you home and I'm going to kick your ass." And then Anthony just kind of nonchalantly looks up, looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, bro, you don't need to follow me home. Why don't you ask your girlfriend where I live? She knows." Immediately says that.
I just wish that was on camera or something, because that is so like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. Like, he's like, "You don't need to follow me home. Just ask your girlfriend. She's there every night. She knows exactly where I live."
Wow.
Like,
right. And that was typical of him. He would just.
Yes, he was. Earlier that day, he had. It was a Friday, and I was working. I'm pretty sure I was working at the glass shop, so I got off at like 5:00. And Anthony worked for BLM, so he got off at like 4:00. Anthony got home as I was pulling in. He had gotten home from the liquor store. Okay, so he gets back from the liquor store, and I had just gotten home. He had bought this half-gallon of Jaeger, which was probably $80, and he was so excited. He was running to me, skipping and laughing. As he's running from his car, his foot hits the curb where it goes up on the sidewalk. He trips, drops the half-gallon of Jaeger, breaks it all over the place, and he gets up and just kind of looks at what happened, smiles, laughs, gets back in the car. He says, "They've got more of that at the liquor store, bro." And half-gallon.
Wow.
He was nuts. He was crazy.
So this is Anthony, and we're golfing with him. You said he brought a 6-pack. Yeah, he was
everywhere he went.
I still wasn't really drinking. I think you were at that time.
A little bit, but I was we were 21, maybe 20, 22. So I had probably drinking maybe a handful of times. I was a weekend guy. It hadn't taken hold of my life yet. For those of you who don't know, I've been sober for 5 years. And I had an issue with alcohol, and I realized it, and I fixed it. So,
congratulations!
Thank you. But back then, things hadn't gotten out of control yet. It was still fun.
Yeah,
I had it very much under control until it took control of me. So, kids, don't start.
Yeah. Okay, so we're out there. He's got a 6-pack. We're hanging out, and then I get in the car. I'm driving. And I'm driving home. You guys are here. He's in the back. I hear this. I'm like, dude. I'm in my head. I'm like, crap. He just opened a beer in the car.
Yeah, he didn't even ask.
it's like, well, what am I gonna do? This type of person, you can't say like, "Oh, stop! You violated the law."
He would just look at you and laugh and just. You would probably have to throw him out of the car to get him to stop.
I wasn't about to. I was just going to go drop him off and be like, "Okay, well, he's not riding my car again."
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got any more stories about him before we...
Yeah, I got one more story. So we really got into playing NBA Street, which was for PlayStation 2, and we would just have these... We'd just play all night long against each other. Well, Jimmy's living with us. I beat Jimmy, and Anthony was egging me on to like get after Jimmy and make fun of him. So I said, "Oh, hey, Jimmy, that's game, partner." And I took my 2 fingers and slapped him right on the, and he like hard, and he got up, grabbed me, pushed me back in my computer chair, and mounted me. He was ready to just pound me into oblivion because I was stuck in the computer chair, and my head almost hit the fireplace that we had in the living room. And Anthony didn't protect me. He's the one who instigated the entire thing, told me to do it, so I did it. And instead of helping me, he just sat there drinking a beer and laughed at us. What a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm in dire need of help, and he's the one who started the whole thing, and he's just going to watch me go down with the ship.
Later on, and I think it was in college, I had a call from my mom, and she told me something happened to him, something pretty tragic. How do you hear about it?
I got a call from Jimmy at work, and he said that Anthony had passed away, and it wasn't a joke, and that it was real, and that was all he knew. So I was bartending at a golf course in Salem, and I had to finish my shift. I had to finish the shift knowing this information.
Wow.
It was awful.
Good friend, because he was kind of just an acquaintance to me. It was just a little bit, but I was like, wow, I knew that guy.
He was a good friend of mine. We had just recently started talking quite a bit more, a couple weeks leading up to his death. And he was on our Rangers team. His dad was our Little League coach.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph Del Prete was our coach. And Anthony was his son, and Anthony was on our team together, me and you. And
his coach, was he like a secondary coach? Because it was Lyle.
Ralph was either the main coach or the assistant coach, and Lyle was either the main coach or the assistant. I don't remember.
Lyle was the main coach.
Okay. I remember Anthony during these conversations when we're starting to talk a lot more, he started bringing up how we got second place. The Rockies.
All the time.
Yeah, the Rockies got first place.
Yeah.
And he would be like, just out of note.
We only lost one game.
Yeah. We lost to the Rockies. And Anthony was like, those son of a bitchin' Rockies, those pieces of crap. He's literally talking like Uncle Rico. Like he wants to go back to 6th grade so we can cinch up the championship in Little League.
Back in 82.
Yeah, back in 82, I could. But no, I'm serious. He would be like, those pieces of crap Rockies. He'd send me photos and stuff of like just funny stuff about baseball. It'd always be Rockies related because he hated them so he hated the Little League Rockies. So therefore he hates the real Rockies. And Anthony was gonna go to a friend's wedding in Portland. So Anthony was like, hey, I'm going to stop by Kaiser and I'll stay the night with you. I'll let you know when I'm heading that way and we'll go out and we'll have fun. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. And I never heard from him ever again because he went tubing like that day or maybe the next day.
East Coast somewhere, wasn't it? Like
he was in Virginia.
Yeah. Okay.
So he went tubing and there was a sign that said, don't go tubing because the water's really high. So, so he didn't have a life jacket on and he probably was drinking all day, I'm sure. And they had been on the river all day long and he was just getting ready to get out. And I'm serious. He's like 7 feet from the edge from what I read.
Wow.
And he fell off the tube and went under and just never came back up. He went under. He went under on August 10th, which was the day Mikeson got married, which is my brother's birthday, which is Joey Al's birthday. So I'm at Mike's wedding as Anthony's dying.
Wow.
So, and then check this out. He was underwater for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, I heard they get him out. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what day they found him on? September 1st, my birthday.
Oh.
So they found his body on September 1st. So I got a Google alert because I subscribed to the newspaper that they had found this body and that it was most likely him because it had the same shorts. And then later they identified they identified him by his dental records.
Wow.
So I used that as fuel to run my first pre in Coos Bay because I didn't know how to deal with the grief of losing him. So I tried to turn it into something positive. So I just would imagine that I was running it for him, in his memory. And I ended up running the Prefontaine for him. I actually ran the Prefontaine at like 315 pounds. I finished it at like 315. That's crazy, huh?
No, that's
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a good friend. He had some issues with alcohol. He didn't always make the best decisions. I would say maybe,
but sometimes that's what makes life interesting when people there and do stuff like that.
He never really grew up. He never got out of that party phase, which is unfortunate because I wasn't there. I don't know.
Still young.
He was 30. He was 30 when he passed. I would have loved to see what he would have turned out like now, because he was one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my life. He was good at sports. He had a lot of really, really great qualities, and he's missed. So There's not. I mean, he did a lot of ridiculous stuff like painting his brakes with nail polish so they'd look like they were aftermarket, dropping half gallons of Jaeger, pissing off ex-girlfriends, boyfriends straight to their face. He did a lot of crazy stuff, but he did a lot of really good stuff too. So rest in peace, Anthony. We miss you, buddy.
All right. With that, we're going to end our episode. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it. We love you, audience. Hey, we're open too. If you just give us a text, do a shout out.
Send us a tweet, anything.
Yeah. All right. And tune in next time. Thank you.
See you later, guys.